In China, millions of women face a harsh reality. It doesn't matter how educated, successful, or independent they are. If they're over 27 and unmarried, society brands them with a cruel label, leftover women. But how is it possible that in a country with over 30 million single men, it's women who suffer the most rejection? The pressure to marry, structural sexism, and the economy behind every wedding reveal a system that suffocates those who choose to live without rushing or without forced marriages. Today, in this report, we explore how Chinese women are confronting this invisible wall, and sometimes they do it in complete silence. This girl is very interested in you. Would you like to meet her? A 39-year-old woman? Why would I want her as a wife? Just take another look. It even says here she wants a dowry. Her youth wasn't mine, and now she's older, and I'm supposed to pay to marry her. I'm not an idiot. Should I bring her home so she looks like my mom? When you buy a car, you go for a new model, right? So if I have the right to choose, why would I buy a used one, nearly ready for the scrapyard? In China, women who haven't married by 27 are referred to as leftover women. According to the 2024 China Statistical Yearbook, more than 116 million women in mainland China remain single. The numbers are striking. Beijing has 2.23 million single women, Shanghai 2.09 million, and Shenzhen 700,000. And in major cities, the imbalance is obvious. In Shenzhen's dating market, for example, the male-to-female ratio can reach 1 to 50. They say China has lots of single men, but actually, there are more women without partners. At dating events in Shenzhen and Nanjing, one man can choose from 50 women. Because of this imbalance, many agencies charge high fees to women only. Men get in for free. Today, men have become a scarce resource. There are supposedly more single men than women. Why isn't that reflected in the marriage market? There's only one explanation. Chinese men are deliberately choosing to stay single. They're fleeing marriage. The cost of getting married has skyrocketed. A typical dowry can reach 6,800 yuan, without even counting the house or car many families expect. A modern wedding can cost over 168,000 yuan. That's more than 20,000 euros, not including the costs of having children. For many young people, marriage is simply unaffordable without family financial support. Do you know how much it costs to get married today? I went to a close friend's wedding. Just the dowry was 6,800 yuan. Before that, he bought a car for around 100,000. Altogether, that's already 168,000 yuan, and the family had to buy an apartment. If he wants kids, that'll cost thousands more. Honestly, with just our salaries, we couldn't afford to marry. Even though 6,800 isn't a huge dowry, without help from the family, marriage is impossible. My friends ask me, "When are you getting married?" I just smile. But it's not that I don't care. I'm almost 30 now, and my partner is even older than me. I was born in 1986. I'm 40. I've never married or had children. Lately, many people message me with one simple question. If you're not ugly, why are you alone? Today, I'm going to tell you the truth. Between the ages of 20 and 25, I had many suitors. My aunts always told me, keep your eyes open, find someone with good prospects. Love doesn't feed you. Marriage is rice, oil, and salt. They told me not to rush, that someone better would come. I believed them. I was an obedient daughter. But when I turned 30, everything changed. The suitors vanished. The men I liked already had kids in high school. I started going to arranged dates, but the men saw me as old, fat, ugly, with gray hairs. What these women are living is not just a personal journey or a simple matter of life choices. It is the direct consequence of a deeply patriarchal system that, in today's China, still measures a woman's worth by her age, her marital status, and her ability to reproduce. In a country where economic growth has been explosive, views on the female role seem frozen in the past. Women are encouraged to study, work, compete. But if they're not married by 30, society labels them as failures, and their achievements lose social value. But not all of them accept this imposed destiny. Many are starting to speak up. Others simply refuse to give in. Because choosing not to marry, in this modern yet deeply conservative China, is more than a personal decision. It's a cultural and political act of defiance. And perhaps the most heartbreaking part of all is that loneliness isn't what hurts most. It's the endless echo of a whole society asking, "Why are you still single?" They have degrees, good jobs, properties, and even savings. But in today's China, many women are discovering that in the marriage market, none of that matters. Once they're past 30, some have even offered money to men just to get married. Yes, you heard that right. Women are paying for a husband. Today, we reveal what's happening behind the scenes in the world of the Shangnu, the single women over 30 in China, and why their struggle goes far deeper than a failed date. Now, being a single woman over 30 in China is a real competition. Some are so desperate to marry, they no longer ask for a house or car. Some even offer to pay themselves. Some offer 5,000 yuan to the man as a dowry. Others give 10,000, plus traditional jewelry. And me? What do I have? They have homes, cars, savings. And I only have a rented room. How can I compete? All I can do is cry. China now has over 200 million single people. Single men tend to live in rural areas, where lack of income prevents them from affording marriage. In contrast, single women are concentrated in large cities. Most are educated, independent, and financially stable. But these two realities don't meet. The economic and social imbalance keeps them apart. In April last year, Hangzhou hosted a dating event expecting over 1,000 attendees. Hundreds of women showed up, but only a handful of men came. Some men, upon seeing the crowd so skewed, left before it even started. In December, a 5-star hotel in Wuhan saw a repeat of the scene. 800 women, all elegantly dressed and perfectly made up. Not a single man came. What's worse, they paid 3,800 yuan each, around 500 euros, just to attend. In total, they spent over 30,000 euros for nothing. Why don't men show up? On social media, many say that men with good profiles don't need to go to dating events. They can choose easily, and men with fewer resources don't attend either, knowing they can't meet the financial expectations, house, car, dowry. They're out of the game from the start, so most don't even try. In cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen, single women over 30 are growing in number. Many would be considered ideal women anywhere else, well-educated, stable jobs, attractive. But even after lowering their expectations, they can't find a partner. A year ago, I met a man online. He was financially well off, earning about 30,000 euros a year. But I didn't feel physically attracted to him. After 2 in-person dates, I told him we should just be friends. He tried to convince me. He sent screenshots of his income, bonuses, company shares, even his savings account. Yes, he was financially solid. But I've seen too many men show off their money just to win a woman over, not to actually share it. He wanted to win me over with the bare minimum. If he were really such a good catch, he'd already be married. So what? Once you marry him, his money becomes yours. What's there to think about? In China, it's traditional for the man to pay a bride price to the woman's family. In provinces like Jiangxi, this can reach 30,000 euros. In Fujian, it ranges from 20,000 euros to 50,000 euros, plus jewelry and property. Under such pressure, many men prefer to look for wives abroad, where these expectations don't exist. According to international marriage statistics, in 2019, over 29,000 Chinese men married foreign women. In 2020, more than 10,000 foreign women arrived in China as wives. In 2021, that number rose to over 27,000. Some are clear about their choice. A foreign wife doesn't ask for dowry, car, or apartment. What these women face isn't just an isolated case. It's the reflection of a social structure that punishes aging in women while ignoring, or even rewarding, it in men. Despite their education, financial stability, and independent lives, many are still pushed aside by a system that values youth over substance. Being alone isn't the real problem. The deepest wound comes when an entire society seems to judge you with one question. So, why aren't you married yet? In a nation once praised for its economic miracle, a darker reality is emerging. China's young generation, educated, ambitious, and digitally connected, is collapsing under the weight of joblessness, low wages, and a future that feels increasingly out of reach. They're not living, they're surviving. For China's youth, 2025 feels like hell mode, an epic difficulty setting for survival. This year alone, over 13 million students sat for the college entrance exam, while 12 million more are graduating from university. But with widespread layoffs in tech and a weakening economy across sectors, good jobs are vanishing fast. AI and big data are buzzwords, but realistically out of reach for most. As one noted, unless you become a mechanic, even new energy is not an option for the average young person. Today, I want to vent about current wages. In big cities, salaries hover around 5,000 to 6,000 yuan. In smaller cities, it's 3,000 to 4,000. After Social Security deductions, it's just enough to scrape by. People seem busy every day, but in reality, we're just going in circles. Across China, young people are living paycheck to paycheck, with little to no savings. No matter where they live, the result is the same: rising costs, stagnant wages, and a growing sense of hopelessness. Many young workers in China's major cities report that over half their salary goes to rent. What's left barely covers food and transit. They squeeze into packed subways, buy cheap lunchboxes, and collapse in tiny, overpriced rentals. By the end of the month, even buying skincare products can feel like a luxury, let alone taking a trip or eating out. Yet moving home to smaller counties offers no real escape. Rent may be cheaper, but utilities and daily costs add up. The result is the same: just enough to survive, and nothing to save. One frustrated blogger summed it up bluntly: "Brothers can't take it anymore. He's running all over the place now. I don't know if you can stand it, but I can't." In Nanning, another netizen commented, "The unemployment rate here is so high. People are working for just 3,000 to 4,000 yuan a month, and not just students. Everyone is just trying to survive." Worse still is the mood that hangs over society. One of collective anxiety. This year's pressure is unmatched. I've seen 10 short videos in a row, graduate students either working for 2,000 yuan or still jobless. I've spent over a decade studying. Was it all just for 2,000 yuan? Even top-tier grads are struggling. We're either working, job hunting, or terrified of being laid off. And in June, nearly 10 million new graduates will enter a saturated market. But there simply aren't 10 million companies or opportunities to absorb them. Oversupply has choked the job market. From Beijing to Shanghai, from Xi'an to Hangzhou, young people are either unemployed, scammed by rental agents, or trapped in low-wage work. The system feels rigged, and for many, hopeless. Observers say that while China's economy has transformed over the past 20 years, the emotional climate among its youth has flipped, from hopeful to grim. Many are now choosing to downgrade in lifestyle as a form of survival. With a monthly salary of 2,500 yuan, I live on 100 yuan a month. Today I made loofah soup for 1.9 yuan. Once I found a job, I became a cooking master. Since I can't earn, I'll save. Stir-fried loofah with a 60-cent egg. I even feel bad about using 30 cents of corn. I was proud of my meal. I showed it off. Takeout orders are down. White-collar workers now bring homemade lunches. On social media, nobody's talking about salary hikes or trips abroad. Instead, they joke, "Don't invite me to anything that costs over 5 yuan." The new motto: keep your head down and don't risk losing what little stability you have. Shopping malls reflect this retreat. Once bustling centers like Nanping, Beijing Tianjie, and Xinguang Tiandi are now eerily quiet. Stores are closing. Foot traffic is vanishing. Look at the brands today. None of them target young people anymore. It's all middle-aged consumers. Only they still have some disposable income. Even business owners admit a harsh truth. Today's youth are no longer a viable market. Not because they're unwilling, but because they simply don't have the means. This isn't frugality, it's survival. And middle-aged workers are struggling too. The job market is brutal. 5 years ago, companies stopped hiring people over 45. 3 years ago, over 35. Now, companies are gone altogether. What are the middle-aged doing? First, they tried starting businesses and lost everything. Then, they turned to intense sports until their health failed. Now they're taking on security, cleaning, or nanny jobs just to get by. And so, caught in this cycle, you remember better days, but endure today just to open and close your eyes until life quietly slips away. For millions of young Chinese, the dream has turned into disillusionment. Behind the headlines of progress lies a silent crisis, one of fading hope, lost potential, and lives quietly unraveling. In the end, it's not just an economic slowdown, it's a generational breakdown, and it may define China's future more than any statistic ever could.